Featuring the second to last day here for the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2014 inside the Ice Park Curling Hall. Today we'll have our first playoff games, and the tension is building up for both the spectators and the players on the ice. This morning in our live future game we'll have Japan playing Australia. Bit of a David versus Goliath today perhaps, but the pressure is surely on the home favourites. My name is Sander Olvag. I'm joined by Hans Frauenlob. We're going to take a look at the standings.
The rounds robin is complete, Sander, and we can see that Japan has led the table. They're on 6-0. Korea and China have also qualified in the other semifinal today, 5-1, 4-2. Australia on 3-4. They had to play a tiebreak last night against New Zealand to qualify for this game, and eliminated from play, but completing really well, Chinese Taipei and Kazakhstan. So let's meet the teams. Team Japan is led by Kosuke Morozumi. Second stone is Tetsuro Shimizu. Third stone is Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi. And skipping Team Japan, Yusuke Morozumi. Their coach is Hitomi Nagaoka.
We're also going to take a look at Australia's lineup for today. At lead, Steve Johns, the youngest player out there. Second, Dean Hewitt. Third on ice is Jay Merchant, and the team is skipped by Ian Palangio. No alternate for Australia, but they have a coach, and the coach name is Archie Merchant. So we're just about to kick off yet again here in the Ice Park Curling Hall. Top modern facility, of course. We have all enjoyed it, not only the players but spectators and media staff alike. As we take a look at the stone colors, Australia playing the red stones, Japan with last stone advantage, and the yellow colors.
Japan does get the hammer in the first end by virtue of their first place ranking in the round robin. So there was no draw shot for the last rock in this game. Japan has the hammer. So our format here, semi-final Friday here at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships. In the men's event, the semis are a best 2 out of 3, but the round robin game between the teams carries forward into these semi-finals. So Japan is already up 1-0 in the best 2 out of 3.
That's there on its own? Okay.
So that means for Australia to qualify for the gold medal match, they'll have to win 2 games.
You get on that. Over here.
Team Japan has to win 1 of the next 2 games to qualify for the final. And we see Japan going straight to the attack, Sander. This is going to be a great game.
Yep, Kosuke Morozumi, lead for Japan, being asked to throw the corner guard. Japan, of course, fearless, undefeated, full of confidence, and when Australia's first stone slips to the back of the tee line, there's also less risk of putting up the corner guard. So this is a good approach, but you will see slightly less curl in the first couple of ends until they really break down the pebble. So you see this corner guard maybe stopping maybe a foot closer to the center line than expected, but as you mentioned yesterday, you like to see maybe stones a bit tighter to the center line, allowing play around on the outturn side as well.
It does give the teams 2 options instead of 1 on a corner guard, so that's a good stone placement.
They always like to keep, some teams like to keep their corner guards about wide to make sure they can draw on this path, but as long as you keep the one side open, really, that should be good enough for the skip. Australia draws into the house again, Steve Johns.
And again, we see Japan going straight to the attack. Some teams might try to throw a double takeout on those 2 stones, but the Japanese are saying, we see that stone behind the tee line, we're going to try and freeze to it. So Japan is really going for it right off the bat. Team Australia, known as the Rock Wallabies.
And a wallaby would be those tiny kangaroo.
Tiny kangaroo is probably the best way to think of it, Sander. That's right.
I was in Ireland, in fact, and there's a tiny island just outside of Dublin, which has
wallabies on it?
Yeah.
Well, it's a long swim from Australia, but one thing about Aussies and Kiwis, you find them everywhere you go in the world.
Dean Hewitt is maybe the first born and bred Australian curling player.
All right. Shot, Dean.
Most Australian players coming from Canada, originally born in Canada.
That's right, Sander. Dean is a native-born Australian. The Australians, kind of similar to the Australian cricket team, they have kind of like a counter system, and so when you qualify or whenever you play a game for Australia, you get assigned a player number. So Jay Merchant and Dean Hewitt are the new Australian internationals for this event. So Dean is Rock Wallaby number 25, and also the first native-born Australian Rock Wallaby. So this is great development for Australian curling. Australia, of course, since the regional system of qualification for Worlds was introduced in the early 1990s, only Australia, New Zealand, and Japan have competed at every single one of those events. Other nations have joined later on. So the Australians are real stalwarts of curling in this part of the world.
Whoa. Close. That's all right. Good. Whoa.
Curling fans, of course, will know of Australian former skip Hugh Milliken. Skipped Australian teams for a number of years, countless world championships. Won these Pacific Championships 9 times. Hugh is now an executive with the World Curling Federation, so he's moved on into the administrative part of the game.
And he's been lurking around here this week.
It's hard to keep Hugh away from a Pacific Asia Curling Championship, Sander. Here comes Japan.
Yeah. Tetsuro Shimizu, second player for Japan, looking to draw in the corner guard, but comes up a bit late. Takes off the corner guard.
Roll over. Steve side isn't bad either.
So things shaping up not too badly here for the Australians.
Well, we did see Japan play aggressive in the first inning against New Zealand as well, and they ended up having to play a shot against 5.
That's right.
So sometimes it might backfire, but right now there is shots available for Murzumi on his last, so they wouldn't be too worried, I think.
Very precise shot there, just squeezing it past their stone at the back. Jay Merchant really flirting with that, calling the sweepers off, but
Yes, whoa.
we hear Jay and Ian saying, yes, whoa. So Australia's lying 3. You see the continued Japanese controlled aggression. Third player, Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi, being asked to draw around that stone in the top 12 foot. So we've talked about the Korean women's team playing fearlessly. The Japanese men's team are pretty fearless as well. Very nice stone there from Yamaguchi. Japan lying 1.
Yeah, leaves Australia the chance to come on to it, but it does eliminate those red stones, so a bit less danger at least for Japan right now.
That's right. So while some might say that was a bit of a risky shot to try the freeze, it's actually a risk reducer when you execute it. Here's Jay Merchant.
This is Jay Merchant's first Pacific Curling Championships. But in 2013 he did play the World Mixed Doubles with Lynette Jill. So he has some international experience coming into this week. And this is a really good shot by Jay Merchant.
Okay.
Yes, I competed against Jay at that 2013 World Mixed Doubles. And speaking to him before this event, he was so stoked to represent Australia at World Mixed Doubles, and he's equally excited about representing Australia here at this event.
Tsuyoshi is a fitness instructor, personal trainer, also a cycling enthusiast, so surely in good shape. As the rest of the Japanese guys, look at Shimizu and Morosumi working this stone past the guard. Just amazing sweeping, really.
Well, if Yamaguchi is a personal trainer, he certainly gave his teammates a workout on that one. They swept it great to get it around the guard.
How's the weight, Jake?
It's not quite normal.
Still not quite there?
Yeah, I think about 90, 95.
Players discussing the pace of the draw shots.
Okay, just do
The
it.
Australians use the timing
Was it 90?
system
95?
from the tee line to the near hog line. So when they're saying it's 90, 95, they're talking about 2.9 or 2.95 seconds between that tee line and the hog line on a draw.
Okay, just to it.
This week, the draw weight using that timing system has been about 3.2, so it's a little bit slower than the players have been experiencing this week.
It might keen up, though.
It
Still
will
the first
absolutely
end.
keen up.
Ian Palangio, one of the more experienced players
pretty good.
at the
Line's
Pacific
good.
Curling Championships.
Just for weight. Gotta be
His
here.
13th appearance.
You see one of the time clocks
Line's
slipping
good.
off the brim.
Take it, guys. Hard, hard, hard. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Go, go, go.
Trying to freeze this one. Keeping
Okay,
the
good
angles.
sweep,
Great
boys.
shot from Palangio.
Yeah, it's
That's
just
as good as you
perfect.
can make it.
Retire that. I got a new one. in
Palangio
the-
did win the
Where is
Pacifics in 2005 and 2006.
it? I think the weight on that.
And Ian,
I think we're pretty close to normal.
Get close
Yeah.
now.
we hear Ian saying now he thinks the weight is pretty close to normal. I was just about to say in the tiebreak game last night against New Zealand, Australia enjoyed a 1-point lead playing the 10th end. New Zealand Scott Becker forcing Ian Palangio to draw the 4-foot for the win, and Ian calmly threw it right onto the button. So Ian is always happy to throw a draw to the button if he has an opportunity, and that one was an honey. It was a great shot.
We'll take our first look at Skip Morozumi. Older brother of the Morozumi clan, Yusuke. Gonna have to try and follow down Ian Palangio's stone. It's glued right on the face of it.
We've got to get it by the guard, Sander. Just why?
Wow.
Anything you can do, I can do better. What a great shot.
Back-to-back amazing draws from the Skips. And if this continues, I think we're going to be in for a cracker of a game.
Yes, we've already got a party going in the
only way you're
4-foot.
getting that off there
In the
is
first end of the game, that's a great sign for
I don't know if it's worthwhile playing it.
all-out contest. Let's listen to what Palangio and Merchant are discussing.
There's no way you can get two right now.
Seven's not going nowhere.
No, no. Gonna play the thin in off?
That's what I think we got to.
Okay.
It's either that or we play the really thin.
I'd rather, I think the angle's better this way.
Okay.
Okay. Normal weight. In turn.
Well, Sander, I'm not sure if I like this call. Right now, the
We come with the out turn.
Australians can easily generate a force and give Japan their one. They're
Play the
looking at
in-turn.
that thin in
Yeah.
off to try and spring the Japanese stone off the center guard, but in doing so, I think it's introducing the risk of the Japanese scoring more than one. They could lock up the force right now, but they're electing to try and kill the Japanese shot.
Give it a quarter off. Okay.
And there we see the stones
Touch more.
lined up perfectly behind
Yeah.
that center guard. Ian Palangio attempting the in off.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Hits it thick
Okay.
and rolls across the face
Okay.
of the shooter. So
Yeah, we
Japan's
just
line
needed to
one.
hit less than an inch.
Yeah, just a bit thinner.
They probably figured there was little risk in that shot because right now, if you're
Yeah,
Yusuke
sorry. No, we
Morozumi,
just
how do you
needed
get
to hit
two?
less than an inch.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, not sure if it's possible, actually.
See, Tetsuro Shimizu thinking the same thing. If I had a crane, I could drop one right on top of that one, but that's not legal.
Wouldn't mind seeing Murasumi just play the draw, though. Just take the chance to practice his draw weight. Or he might just throw it through.
Well, if he could throw it on the button right on the tee line, snuggled right beside those two. Nope, that's not going to happen. One it is.
Yep, just going to throw it through, realizing there's no chance of scoring more than one here.
Yep.
So it's 1 point to Japan. So they open their account. But a very entertaining first end, Sander. Some great shot making by both the skips.
All right, that was a good end. It's a good force. Good force.
Ian Palangio saying it was a good force. It was indeed. So Australia will take the hammer into the second end. As we said, it's semi-final Friday here. Round robin phase is over. So we have 4 teams in both the men's and the women's competition that still have a chance of winning the gold medal at this event. During our feature game, from time to time, we'll update you with the scores in the other matches, just to let you know who is playing in the women's event. China versus Japan, number 2 versus number 3 ranked. They're starting their effectively best of 3 semi-final. China scored 1 on the first there. On sheet D, also in the women event, Korea unbeaten in the round robin, 8-0, taking on 4th ranked New Zealand. Korea leads that one 2-0. And in the other men's semi-final, number 2 ranked Korea versus number 3 ranked China. And they have not quite finished the first end of play in that game. But we return now to our feature match. The Rock Wallabies from Australia taking on the hometown team from Japan.
Chair, weight spine. Okay. Just line. Line's fine. It's coming down. Line's fine. No, that's good. 2 to 3. Yeah.
So no conservative play here from either team. The Australians electing to throw a corner guard with last rock.
Shot, great shot.
More entertaining curling coming our way, Sander.
Suzuki now is trying to put up the centre guard in front of his own yellow stone. Working us a hard one for weight. It's coming up a bit short. You don't want to leave too much distance between the house and the guard, because it will allow Australia more space and room and time to curl around it.
You see there from our long shot, only half guarding the shot rock.
Okay. Back house weight.
Palangio looking for back house weight from his lead player, Steve Johns.
Yeah, often you'll see teams freeze the shot, but I see more and more skips looking to move the shot when they can, just to allow more scoring room, get the stone off the button, and it's usually a good tactic. But again, you need to keep the shooter in a nice spot as well.
Trying to keep this stone behind the guard if they can. Bumps it just to the button. So that Australian stone now will enjoy the protection of that guard. But Japan is lying 1, hoping to bump it a little bit deeper in the house than they did.
Murasumi calling for the freeze. So they're just going to corner freeze the red. Just overlap it.
Tetsuro Shimizu on his in turn. This Morozumi team is not only representing the host nation of Japan, but they're also representing the town of Karuizawa. They're local boys. They curl out of this facility, so they will know the ice conditions here very, very well. And a great shot there from Shimizu. Perfect angle. So Australia now having to pull the chute. Native-born Aussie, Dean Hewitt.
Clean, clean. Line's good. Shot, Dean. Great shot, Dean. Nice shoot.
And we've seen in earlier games that Dean can throw that peel weight with force and accuracy. Later in the game, we may see the same from Team Japan. They can really throw the heat. But delicate draw shot here for Tetsuro Shimizu.
Yeah, you got to make sure not to drop points to these guys because they will run away with it fairly easily. You have done this week. So Australia might want to try and keep this game a bit tight. They are playing aggressive, the Australians as well. So yesterday, China playing Korea in the women's draw, maybe employing a defensive tactic to keep things tight, forcing Korea off their aggressive game. And that could have been a tactic for the Australians here, but it's nice to see that they're out to play.
Well, we talked about Ian Pelangio's confidence in his draw weight. So Team Australia are usually pretty happy to have a lot of rocks in play because Ian's usually pretty confident that if there's a draw to be made to save the end, he can make it. And we see those corner guards angled in an interesting way for Team Australia after that shot. Might be useful later on in the end. There we see on our long shot, look at those two corner guards on the left-hand side of their screen. Might be available for a run later in the end if they need it.
Now Japan though, liking the situation, just going to throw the guard again, and at some point Australia might have to make a move.
Shimizu and Morozumi on the brushes. Nice job.
It's almost there. You just need a little bit of a drag to get to here. Yeah.
So the Australians are indeed looking at those corner guards for a possible run-in.
Do we want to come down with, go here? Yeah. Maybe move it a little bit? That's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad. And then it's another one for this to catch down the track.
Yeah. Come here.
And the angles are really nice, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Hey?
It's a little tap. It's okay.
Yeah. Line's tight through the port.
Yeah.
So Australia is electing to try and maybe small bump freeze that stone on the button.
Maybe a little tap.
Are lined up pretty good. Not. Yeah, we're going to bump a bit. But if it happens just to freeze, that's fine. It's just another rock for those guards to catch. We're just thinking a few shots ahead.
So we have talked about those corner guards, and the Aussies are thinking a couple of shots ahead. So this will be a setup shot with the intention of using those corner guards for a run-in on the next shot, if they can. We talked about Jay Merchant playing mixed doubles. This is very much like a mixed doubles shot. Freeze to a stone at the back of the button.
Whoa, whoa, room, whoa.
Don't want to touch the corner guards though,
Close.
and stir up
Here
those
comes,
angles.
Close. Yep, here it comes.
Good looking line.
Yep, hard. Hard, guys, hard.
Have to get it by those stones in the front of the 4 foot as well.
Yes. Hard, hard,
Yep,
hard.
roll it. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Just touches it.
Yeah, left that one a bit too long.
They did.
That's often the case when if you don't give it a stroke, if you get off the sweeping altogether, the stone tends to really grab onto the ice, especially in the second end. There's still some frost out there.
It's very consistent, Sander, with what we've seen in terms of the way that the ice is run in other draws, where Maybe in the first end or two, the stones taking a while for curl, but then very, very quickly on draws, we start to see the stones finishing really hard. And yes, that one just caught the Aussies out a little bit. Still in reasonable shape though, and they do have the hammer. But an opportunity here for Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi to wedge another one in there. Trying to remove the Australian stone.
It's going to have to come to the inside though. This one hanging wide so far.
So pushes the Aussie stone to the back of the house, but not out. Australia lies one, but there's a dangerous Japanese stone frozen directly in front of it.
Yeah, you might leave him that.
So those two corner guards are very much on the mind of the Australians. We can see Jay Merchant still looking at it. He's dying to throw it.
I don't mind the hit and the flop. Yeah.
Just to there.
Yeah.
Can't roll out.
No.
Hey, control?
Yeah.
Or do you want to?
Even if we happen to roll here too, yeah. Like worst case, we roll here. It's not terrible.
Yeah, that one's tough to get rid of, but.
No, I know. But this angle is still lined up for that.
Yeah.
The top one.
Okay.
So we'll try the flop this way.
Pelangio and Merchant discussing which way they'd like to roll with this shot.
Yeah. If we hit and flop out, it's all right as well.
Good communications there from the Australians, letting the sweepers know what their options are. But the line responsibility will be with Ian Pelangio.
That draw line sure snapped. Yeah.
Control weight takeout.
Oh, close. Oh. Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa, then.
Here it comes.
Whoa.
To Steve's side.
Whoa. Whoa. It's going to roll your way a little bit. Okay.
So
Okay.
hits and rolls to the outside, behind
Not
cover.
terrible. Bit up. Bit up. Bit up weight.
I think Jay had,
Okay. It's not terrible.
he was trying to throw control weight, but he was thinking more about the way that his draw snapped just before he threw the shot, so he goosed his weight a little bit, overthrew it a bit as a result. Now the Japanese are looking at those corner guards. They're considering how they might be used against them. Stone placement is critical here, Sander.
I think they've chosen to come around those two stones in the forfeit.
So another intriguing end. Playing end number 2, you're watching live coverage from the Pacific Asia Curling Championships here in Karuizawa, Japan. Japan 1, Australia no score, playing end number 2.
You never like to look at 3 red stones in the house when you don't have hammer. Oh.
One of the great curling cliches is sometimes the best guard is second shot.
Ping. Line's good.
See if this snaps just like Merchant's draw. Might look like it does.
Really working at the Japanese. Close to that top one, just feathering it. Comes to rest to the top of the button. Good sweeping there from the Japanese, but feathering that stone in the top of the forefoot does make it available for Team Australia.
Well,
That wouldn't be bad either.
if you knows. Yeah.
And he plays it.
Yeah.
Then we'll have the 8 open.
Yeah.
So either or.
So I'm thinking about just bringing it down to board weight.
Okay.
So we've been looking at those two corner guards of the Reds in the upper right for the whole end.
Out here.
I think so.
They may not come into play at all, but Merchant and Pelangio were considering
Board weight.
where this stone's going to come to rest. Board weight, says Ian
He knows
Pelangio.
that it's not bad.
Close. Yep. Whoa. Whoa. Little up. Little up. Little up.
Needs to curl.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Ends up rolling the other way.
Okay.
And
Australia lying first, third, fourth, and fifth shot.
yeah, it's
So-
going to be a bit scary for the Japanese.
Yeah, they're saying that one's welded great, but boy, it's pretty lonely in there. If that angle run-in could ever somehow spring that Yellowstone sideways out of the house, then Australia could get a pile. So again, Morozumi thinking I got to get another one in there.
I think there is a good chance of those guards being lined up onto the yellow in the house right now. So yeah, you need one more in there to make that shot a bit more complicated. Again, they're going to try and draw around their own yellow in the house. Maybe adjusting the ice a wee bit.
They like the line.
Kosuke and Tsuyoshi on the brushes. Looking pretty close.
Sliding to the back of the button. Has it slid past shot? Yes, it has. So Australia lies one. And they have an opportunity now, and no hesitation from Ian Pelangio. He says, I'll take those two. He wanted to draw to the button for his second point.
Right on the pin.
Yeah, we're already sitting one. Straight draw, straight draw. Put it on the pin.
4 foot.
So it's normal?
On the pin.
Last rock of end number 2 for Ian Pelangio, trying to draw the button for 2 points.
Roll for line.
Where is it?
Johns and Hewitt
Roll for line.
on the brushes.
Can't hurt it. Can't hurt it.
They like the line. Nice stone there from Ian Pelangio, and it's
Sweet,
2
guys.
points for Australia, and they go out to a 2-1 lead. Great shot by Ian Pelangio. A really high quality end there from Team Australia, Sander. They set that one up really well. Draw around guards, very high quality stone placement, good execution all around. So a well-earned 2 points for Australia.
Yeah, and I think that's what the game needs really, for Australia to come go in front with a lead, putting some pressure on Japan and forcing them to really be aggressive.
Psychologically really important. We've talked about how the Japanese were unbeaten in the round robin. Not only were they unbeaten, but it wasn't very often that they were trailing in games either. So a really big deuce early on for the Rock Wallabies. We go to play now in end number 3. Steve Johns,
Not bad.
the Australian lead. I won't call him a veteran.
Line's fine, guys. Just for weight.
Although I probably just did.
Sir. Okay. Just here. Spite top 4.
Sir.
Australia playing for the force this end, drawing
Shot,
this one
Steve,
into
perfect.
the top 4
Great
foot.
shot.
And no doubt we'll see Japan respond with a corner guard. And they do.
Line's good. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Either or. Short's good though.
These teams are competing for a place in the gold medal match tomorrow.
Where is it? Tight. Tight.
And the winner of this best 2 out of 3 series will also qualify for the World Men's Curling Championships to be held in early April 2015 in Halifax, Canada at the Halifax Metro Centre. So a lot for both teams to play for here. Very nice 2 stones there from Steve Johns. I've always thought Steve was one of the best lead players in the world sander. He's amazingly consistent. Are they by? No. So we're seeing the Japanese crashing some guards here early on, Sander.
I like that. We can come right into here.
Japanese team can make mistakes also,
That works too.
and Australia's going to have to take advantage of that.
I'm thinking of 4, Dean.
Australian second stone, Dean Hewitt.
Tight, 12. Through.
This is a bit heavier than the Aussies are looking for, however.
We're there. We're there. It's got to bend a bit. It's got to bend. It's got to bend. Whoa, whoa. Yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Still on the yellow.
A little bit.
Okay.
Just nudge the Japanese stone onto the rings.
Geez, that would have been 8 foot way tight.
Bumper.
Bumper is a word that translates universally in curling. Bumper weight, board weight.
Katsuro Chimitsu, second player for Japan. Looking for the soft run back here, but stuffs it.
Jams onto the Australian shot. So Australia still lies 1, but those Japanese stones just in front of the house
That they can promote.
represent danger for Team Australia.
On that.
I like the call from Team Japan
This
there.
one.
No.
Keeping their weight down. They
This
want to
That one
keep
there.
the shooter in front.
Right now,
You know,
there's
those
just a
yellow
lot of
stones in
yellow
the
up
front there.
I know.
Bit of a
I'd
problem
like to
for
hit that.
Australia.
Yeah, even if we can try and hit it and get a little bit of a flop in.
Okay. Just nose hit, Dean.
Yeah,
Control.
Yeah.
Yes, the Australians have seen how
Just control.
the Japanese love to play the run back shot. So they'll look to try and neutralize this. Asking Dean Hewitt to remove one of those stones and maybe
Yep.
get a tiny roll inside and take away the run back.
Hard line. Clean. Clean. Yep. Hard. Okay, clean.
Excellent shot there from Hewitt. Actually rolled too far.
How about
All right,
that?
bad luck, Dean.
That is bad luck. They were looking for that to roll a little bit to take away the run back, but they've lined it up on their own shot rock. At least it's their own stone. But the Japanese will say, okay, we can kill everything here. So now we'll see the big weight from Katsuro Shimizu.
It's going to be a quite of a...
This is Shinkansen weight.
Yeah. And I think you need it to dispel both the reds here.
Bang.
See
So there we see a demonstration of the Japanese ability to throw that big weight.
Still just enough to move the red all the way out.
Stop 4.
Still a center guard in play for Australia, but also some corner guards for Team Japan.
We're almost looking at a 95 or a 4.
95 or a 4. So earlier I said they use the T to hog weight, but no, they do use the back line to hog weight system. So 3.95 or 4 seconds in terms of communicating draw weight. Here's Jay Merchant.
Pretty quick.
That is pretty quick.
Whoa, whoa.
Head ice maker
I
Joe
think the line's okay.
Fritz from Germany. I had a word with him before the game about the
Gonna
ice
bend
conditions.
soon. Close.
He told
Where
me
is
that
it?
the air temperature in the building here is
Yep.
6 degrees
A little
Celsius.
bit, yep. Yep.
Temperature just above ice level is 4.4 degrees
Right back,
Celsius.
Right back. Hard.
Nice shot here from Merchant.
Good shot, Jake.
And the humidity
Sweet,
here in
guys.
the building is just on 60%. So that's, in curling teams terms, quite a dry air in the building. So there should be no risk of frost.
Nice rock.
It is a really crisp and clear day here
Looks like
in
it's way out there.
Karuizawa.
Really snapping at the end. Yeah, mine.
Great shot from Merchant.
Run back called by Moritsumi.
Japan with the hammer here on the third.
So Yoshi,
Yep.
big weight as well.
Ning. Yep. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Perfect shot.
Wow. This Morozumi team really
Around
do
this
love
way.
to play that big weight run back.
What'd you get for a clock on that one?
And when you can execute like that, there's no wonder why.
Take an
Still a centre guard for Australia, but if they even
Around this
make
way?
the perfect
Yeah.
draw,
Actually, we
Japan
just
will be
played
able to run their own colour in.
Let's go with the other turn. I
You
like
wanna
the
go
same
in
turn
turn again?
All four
Sorry.
guards
Just
in
two
front of the
corner
house
guards here, that's
belonging
all.
to Japan.
Oh, that's a good point as well.
So if we come around, he makes a little hit and flop. It's only one guard on this side. That's all
We'll
I was
try and
thinking.
bury it.
Which way do you like?
Let's come
Okay.
out turn then. He likes it.
Palangio
Out turn. Okay, 95 or 4, fellas.
preferring the out turn.
No.
Close. Yeah, for line. Yeah, for line. Hard, guys. Hard line. Hard line. Hard. Go,
Gotta
go,
get it
go.
by, guys. Come on.
Go, go, go. Hard, hard, hard. Okay, you're
Sweepers
by.
are really working it to get it by. They
We're
do
by.
get it by. But they had to
Okay.
sweep it for line, and so they've made it drive behind the tee line, so it slides to the back of the button. No real option, though. The sweepers had to sweep that one to get it by the
Oh,
guard.
we needed to pound it to get it by.
Jay Merchant acknowledging that they did have to pound it to get it by the guard. So it's popped out the other side. So a decision here for Japan, how they want to play this. Do they want to bump it and roll behind the center guards, or do they play the freeze? So Yoshi Yamaguchi, after throwing the big weight run back, is now being asked to play a delicate draw.
いいよ、ニン、ニン。ニン、おうおう、急だったら、おうおう、待って。まだだよ。ニン。ニン。急だったらクリーン。ニン。ニン。
Playing the freeze. Nice stone there from Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi.
You had that here, Ian? There?
Well, Ian Palangio
Okay.
played a freeze on this very in-turn side in the first end, made it perfect.
This here, if we bump it
So he
in,
should
that's
have a
all
good
right, too.
idea about the weight and
Yeah.
line.
Go
Raise
jump
two,
it.
it's perfect. Same shot as 2 ends ago.
Nice shot.
Confirming it, Sander. He's reading your mind. Curlers, especially skips, typically have great memory for when they've thrown a shot in a certain location earlier in the game.
Whoa, then.
Sweepers think it
Lots-
might be a
lots of room.
little bit heavy.
Whoa.
Lots of room. Let it work.
Where is it?
Let it work. Let it work.
Yep, yes! Yes! Hard! Hurry!
Right to it. Hard,
Hurry!
guys. Hard, hard, hard. Go.
Will they get it there?
Hurry! Go, go, go! Oh,
Great brushing from the Australians
Okay,
and a
good sweep, guys.
fantastic shot by Palangio.
good shot.
Nice.
By making that tiny, tiny little bump, I think Australia might even be lying one. Excellent, excellent shot from Ian Palangio.
I'd say that's a bit of a deja vu.
Deja vu all over again, as Yogi Berra said. We see that Australian shot perfectly behind the guard. Perfect angle on the freeze, so no way for Japan to pick it out. So Yusuke Morozumi finds himself in very much the same position as he found himself in the first end. He's got the hammer, but what do you do with it?
Yeah, well, this time he can't freeze for shot stone. He'll be second. Pretty much whatever he does. So I think he's going to try and tap things up here, try and loosen up the stones a wee bit, try and set up for a second shot. Potentially score 2.
Sweepers are backing right off it. This one needs to curl. It's got a bit of weight. Sweepers liking it a bit better now. Small bump on the Australian stone, repositions both of the stones slightly and changes the angle, but Australia still lies 1.
Very weight sensitive, the ice. As soon as you play a bit more weight, it does straighten out a lot. So
Short's better. Yeah.
Takes back the center raise.
Australia left with a good chance of a steal here.
Right. Takes back the center raise in the open.
Okay. Touch more ice.
Okay. Right there?
Yeah.
So the way these stones are angled now, Australia is saying we'll give you the outturn side.
We're shot rock.
Trying to get half around.
The rings, just a touch around that yellow. It's perfect. Yeah.
Pelangio confirming they'd love to come half around that center guard on the in-turn side, take away the path to the button,
Give you a touch less.
as well as the straight run back. Jay Merchant holding the brush.
Where is it? Where is it? Yep. Whoa. Yep.
Johns and Hewitt trying to tuck it around the corner of this center guard.
Yep. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Just by it. That was pretty casual, but they got there. Very nice stone from Pelangio.
I wonder if Morozumi is going to try and run any of the corner guards back.
Well, there's no risk, and we can see Morozumi going out to those corner guards and having a look.
Could be a shot for 3.
It could be if he could stick this one perfectly onto the nose of the Australian stone, and we've got a great angle on it from our commentary position, and there you've got a great angle on it too. If you can hit this stone about 2/3, run it onto the Australian red, hit the Australian red on the inside, but enough to keep his stone in the rings, he could clear all of the Australian stones, and that would be an amazing 3. So fasten your seatbelts. This will be entertaining.
Probably make 1 out of 10 of these shots in practice. Working it for line. Are they close? Oh my
Incredible
Lord.
shot. Yusuke Morozumi, angle raise, double takeout for 3.
Wow.
Look at this on the replay. Perfectly catches it, drills the Australian stones out of there, and Japan scores an incredible 3.
That's amazing.
That is as good as you'll see.
That's the shot of the week so far, that's for sure.
Easily the shot of the week, might be the shot of the year. Japan takes a 4-2 lead.
And that's how quickly things can turn around in curling.
Absolutely. From a position where it looked like Japan had nothing, they conjure up some magic. And the Australians can only smile and acknowledge the quality of that shot.
Yeah, that's a great win for the home fans.
Absolutely. An incredible shot from Yusuke Morozumi.
And then right away, got to calm down and just start again.
That's right. The heart would be racing for the Japanese boys after that great shot, but now they do need to refocus. It is play in the fourth end, so even though that was a huge end for the Japanese, if Australia was to score a deuce here, the scores would be level. And Australia right back to the attack. Looking for a corner guard.
2-3. 2-3.
Well, at the fifth end break in our
Line's pretty good.
broadcasts, we normally show
Shot.
highlights from
Shot.
the first half of the game. Frankly, if I had my preference, we'd show that one 3 times. It was a great shot.
It's easy for the Australians now to maybe feel a bit deflated.
That is the kind of thing that can really deflate a team, and it's a big test of the mental toughness of the Australians. To bounce back from a situation where you think you're going to get a steal and all of a sudden your opponent makes an awesome shot, and it's a 4-point turnaround. But these teams have met often in Pacific Asia Championships, so the Australians will know that the Japanese are capable of shots like that.
Kazuki Morozumi has a 7 wins, 2 losses record against Australia.
Line's close.
Looking to improve on that today.
Yes, line. Hard line. Hard line. Whoa, it's on the red. It's on the red. All right.
Attempted come around by Steve Johns, a little bit narrow, so
Okay.
Australia will leave it there for another guard. They would have preferred to be in the house, however. So that is kind of a test for veteran teams in particular, to rally yourself after that kind of end and not get deflated. Pick yourself up and carry on.
Well, I think that's going to be Steve Johnson, Ian Palanjo's job.
Absolutely right. Merchant and Hewitt are the rookies on this team.
Yeah, for Palanjo and Johns is really not their first barbecue.
Yes, if you think about appearances at the Pacific Asia Championships in terms of Australian Barbies, they've roasted many a shrimp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, we're coming into summer in the Southern Hemisphere. My home of New Zealand and Australia. Always a bit of a disadvantage for the Southern Hemisphere teams because the curling seasons are completely opposite. Curling in Australia, there is no dedicated curling facility in Australia. The curling is played on ice hockey rinks. There is curling in Melbourne and in Brisbane. There have been plans to build a dedicated curling facility in Sydney. And I dare say if a dedicated curling facility was ever built in Sydney, it would be a very attractive proposition for curlers in the Northern Hemisphere to come down and play in a summer spiel where you might be able to curl in Sydney and enjoy the beach at Bondi later in the day.
Just straight peel.
I think if they were to build a rink there, you might want to come here and see how it's done.
Couldn't agree more, Sander. This facility in Karuizawa is absolutely magnificent. And if every curling club in the world looked like this, curling would be a pretty happy experience.
Close. No, no.
Dean Hewitt
Close.
trying to improve the access, running it back, rearranging stones. So we see the Australian equivalent of the Shikansen.
Shot, Dean.
Yeah, that's a super shot from the young lad.
There are no bullet trains in Australia, but you do have triple trailers running through the Australian outback, so that might be our equivalent. A lot of empty space in Australia. Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi.
6まで。よラインク。リン。Yep. リン。ちょっとある。
By the guard, by the stone in the top 8.
Nice.
We hear Yosuke saying nice. Indeed it was.
Now, bit of a temptation for Australia. Could have drawn onto that yellow, but they know that if they don't make that draw, they're in real big trouble. And even if they make it, Japan's going to come after it, and they'll probably just be forced to the one. So they want to try and open things up again. Might be able to spill off 2 guards here. Might spill one of the reds back onto the yellows to get it perfect.
Merchant blows it between the stones, but does clear a path to the shot. The Australian Curling Federation joined the World Curling Federation in 1986. We talked about Australia being a stalwart of international curling.
Green だけ3まで。リン。ラインつく。ハウスに。じゃあウォーだな。
We talked about the ability of this Japanese team to protect a lead. They're 2 points up. Australia with the hammer. Trying to level this one up, but right now,
Right there.
and they're bailing out a bit. Japan's line 2 guarded.
Yeah, it's close.
Yeah, you see in Japan, they're
All right, guys.
looking to maybe steal another point here. Don't think they're going to be switching on all defensive gears until they may have a 3 or 4 point lead.
I agree, Sander. Sometimes when you've knocked your opponent on their heels with a great shot like the 3, sometimes you want to keep your foot on the throat and really go for it. Jay Merchant trying to run back that center guard and maybe kill a couple of Japanese shots in the process. He does get one of them. Good shot there from Jay. Japan lies 1. Still have that red center guard to use. So you can see Yosuke telling us where he wants that stone to come to rest. Half around that guard, top of the forefoot. Lots of local Japanese media here this week supporting both of these Japanese teams. The Japanese women's team is enormously popular in Japan, but this Japanese men's team is also getting some attention. They're a young team, and but they've had lots of international experience already. Missed out on qualifying for the 2014 Sochi Olympics, but they're young enough that they'll have their eyes on Pyeongchang 2018. Comes to rest just in the 12-foot. I don't think they hit a corner behind that guard.
Even if you peel it off, it's not terrible. Should open it up. Yep. Normal weight. Sure.
So a chance here for Australia to
What's that?
bail themselves out of trouble.
You could.
Getting some input from Steve Johns.
It is there, isn't it? Huh? It is there. That's using this one. Yeah. come to here.
Okay, you like that?
So the first instinct was to play the double takeout, but now they're looking at freezing the stone in the back of the forefoot.
That's how we get 2.
A little bury there.
Yep.
Pelangio saying that's how we'll get 2.
Okay, let's try it.
Yeah, even if we bump it an inch or so.
Yep.
That ice look all right?
Yeah.
Remember, we got
That's a
tight
little bit on
guard
that
there.
side, so that's good.
Yeah, well, if you don't make the double, you're probably being forced to one. So they're
There's the way you
thinking,
get 2.
T-line!
And the
let's
other
give
way of playing is
us
to make
give
sure we
ourselves
get
a good
top
chance of scoring 2.
Let's make this.
Let's make this. That's always a good plan.
Has shown some proper good draw weight so far, Ian Pelangio.
Big shot here from Australia. They're facing 2.
Close!
Close, guys.
They like the line. Now it's a question of the weight.
Looks a little heavy.
Whoa!
I think it might be a bit heavy. Well by the guard.
Snap in there.
Here it comes.
Okay. Shot.
Maybe 1 foot heavy, but a nice shot there from Pelangio. Australia lies 1. Would have loved it to curl maybe another quarter rock and maybe sit 3 or 4 inches shorter than they have, but as we heard Ian Pelangio say when he climbed into the hack, that's our only chance to get 2. So they elected to gamble and try it. They're lying 1.
Well, they're at least forcing a good shot from Morzum here. He's going to try and have to freeze to the inside of the red.
ライン的にはね、初めはちょっと待ってほしい感じかな。
And we see our scoreboard, Japan leading at 4-2.
So ever a bit high on line. Might be a shot for 2. If it crashes on the top one, again there might be a shot for 2 for Australia. So precise shot. Asked for.
Sweepers on it immediately. They're worried about the weight.
Line's good! Line's good! Line's good!
They buy the guard.
That's
Great
perfect.
shot from Morozumi.
Some excellent help from the sweepers though.
That was definitely a sweeper shot. They never left it. Just getting it by the guard and just bringing it to rest on the tee line. The sweepers were on that one the moment it left the hand of Yusuke Morozumi, and they never let up. And now a real problem for Australia.
We play. Is that going to be enough to catch that there?
If you catch the outside of that, that'll come backwards.
Okay. Well, let's play it. Okay. He's got to hit like a fraction.
Yep.
You like that?
Just pick it. The way the angles are, the red's going to
We're
go
gonna
back
have to
on the
hope
other
that
yellow.
this catches there.
Normal.
You got to go. You got to throw some weight at it.
Yep. Just pick that yellow
I
as
think there
thin as we
might
can.
be a risk of the red one springing off the back yellow.
Yes, the Australians are counting on the drag effect here, so they're going to try and hit the outside of the yellow stone.
That ice look good?
It looks like that the red stone would
Maybe
go
a touch
directly
more?
past
Yeah.
it, but drag effect means that the angle of that red stone may change. The Australians are counting on that.
Whoa.
Last stone for Ian Pelangio. Does he have contact? No, he clips his own stone, and Japan steals 1. So that great freeze by Yusuke Morozumi pays off for Team Japan,
What's that?
and they add to their lead.
Weight was good.
Trying to make a positive out of a situation.
Well, I think so. I think the red comes back on that one. All right.
Shot. Yeah.
Jay Merchant saying it was the only shot they had. It was. That freeze by Yusuke Morozumi left really a low-risk option for Team Australia. Semi-final Friday here at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships. 4 games going on here, 2 in the women's and 2 in the men's event. Semi-final action. Let's quickly update you with the scores in the other matches. In the women's event on sheet E, it's China versus host nation Japan. That one is tied up at 2 after 4 ends of play. On sheet D in the women's event, top-ranked Korea versus 4th-ranked New Zealand. Korea has gone in front now 5-2 after 4 ends of play. Just saw a terrific shot in the men's event on sheet C between Korea and China. Korea made an amazing raise takeout to score 2. And so Korea now leads that one 3-1. And returning to our feature match, also in the men's event, Australia versus Japan. Steal of 1 for Japan in the 4th. And now they are out to a comfortable 5-2 lead over Australia.
Line should be fine.
So Sander, as we enter the 5th end now, approaching the halfway point in the game.
Yep, finish it a bit.
We've seen the skill of this Japanese team with a lead.
Okay.
What can the Australians do to try and claw their way back?
Well, first of all, they're going to have to try and take advantage of the free guard zone, which they are, putting up the corner guard. Japan obviously not allowed to remove that stone. But they don't have to be overly aggressive yet, maybe. There's plenty of ends to go. But try and use the free guard zone. They'll have to count on Steve Johns to set up the ends and make some well-timed aggressive shots, as we've been talking about this week. Don't want to go over-aggressive, and you just want to pick your spots, really. You will be able to score 2 if Japan plays defensively.
Top house.
And Japan's not going all that offensive yet. They could have put that second Yellowstone in the house. That would be the defensive call. So I think Japan still looking to play with some stones. Maybe forcing Australia to a 1 here. And then trying maybe to score 2 to kill off the game, and then really put the defensive gears on.
Hard. Hard, hard, hard. Okay, we're on the yellow. All right.
Saw how China fought their way back against Korea in the men's draw.
That's true. If you joined us earlier in the week in the round robin, you saw an amazing comeback from Team China. Korea had a 7-2 lead in that game from memory, and the Chinese forced an extra end. So it is possible to come back. Free guard zone gives teams the opportunities to throw guards. Japan lying first and second shot. Australia now will be forced into a mode where they have to gamble a little bit.
What are you thinking? 95?
Dean Hewitt.
Line's pretty good. Line's pretty good. Just for weight. Yep, for line. Yep. Hard. Hard, guys. Hard, hard, hard.
Trying to get it by. I'm not sure they
Go,
are.
go, go.
Oh, they just squeak it by, but it's only into the top 12 foot.
Okay, good shot.
Well swept.
Nice call, Wanda.
Ian Palangio acknowledging the fans. Good support for these teams here this week in Karuizawa.
So you see Japan playing a bit more defensive now. They're not making the draws when they feel like there's maybe a 50-50 option. Maybe electing the hits instead. Don't want too many reds to fly around. So they might even come off their own yellow here thinly to remove the red. There we go, perfect shot. Hachimitsu.
Yes, the Japanese are supremely confident in their ability to throw hits with precision. So when they sense the danger and there's an option to throw the hit,
I think so.
they back themselves to make it.
I think they've also matured a lot when it comes to picking the right weight for the right shots. You see them play the down weight very often.
Close. Yep. Whoa, whoa,
And that's
whoa, close. Yep. Yes.
it's really good skill. As I remember the Swedish team, Nicholas Edin, also known for throwing the big weights, but it wasn't until they really was able to adapt the soft weight shots, they ended up as world champions.
That does reflect growing maturity in curling, as well as situational awareness in the game of when to throw the right weight. When you're a young team and you can throw the heat, quite often you want to throw it all the time just because you can, but that doesn't always mean you should.
No, and very often you might practice the big weights more, so you feel confident in playing the big weights in games as well, where you might want to practice more on the soft shots, so you feel confident playing those in games when they're needed. You really need every skill in your pocket as a curling player nowadays, even if you're a lead or a skip.
That's absolutely right, Sander. The evolution of the game, the introduction of the free guard zone, curling at the Olympics means that every player has to be able to theoretically play every shot. Jay Merchant trying to redecorate.
Yep. Hard, 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 hard. Roll it. Roll it, Steve. Roll it.
Kills 2 of the Japanese stones, leaves his own there as a center guard, though.
Wow. Not terrible, but it's not.
I think Japan's going to try and
Yeah, I got a little bonus in the back. But the
tuck a
shooter's
piece
still
around the center guard, just top of the 12 foot.
So we've talked about shifting gears, and now the Japanese will be shifting gears, saying, I like this situation, now we can go for the steal.
Yeah, well, there's no red stones in the house, and Australia can't really get to the Yellowstone. And the Yellowstone in the house already is in a very nice spot, so good opportunity for Japan to put some pressure again on Australia. Set up for a steal.
Close to that guard. Just past it. Not quite in the rings, but a pretty good stone there for Japan. They've taken away the run back. Would have probably preferred that into the 12 foot, but they'll take it. Does cover the shot.
All right, guys, let's make this.
Jay Merchant, a police officer at the Queensland Police Service.
Whoa. Yes! Whoa. Yep.
So then-
Kills
Nice shot.
2. Great
Yep.
shot.
Here we go. Here we go. All right.
Saw them bring out their little mascot
Slowly
yesterday.
looking better.
Teddy bear in a police uniform.
Yeah, Merchant cleared the streets on that one.
Still that Yellowstone in there though for Murzumi to guard. But Australia creeping in on it, getting closer.
At this point in the end, we still do see a corner guard up there in the top of our screen. So in the back of Ian Palangio's mind, he'll be thinking, maybe a 2, but realistically at this point in the end, probably hoping to blank.
I just want to point out that the stone in the house does belong to Japanese lead Kosuke Murzumi. So as you see how important those lead shots are, really setting up the ends. If that stone was 2 feet deeper, it wouldn't really be worth guarding in the same way they have been Team Japan. So sometimes ignored. Well, this one slides maybe a touch too deep for Murzumi.
So he's guarding the
Can't
shot,
even
but
roll on, I don't think. Wow, you could if you threw peel. Have to spin on. Yeah, but I think chances are just sit here. Yeah. It might though. It's worth a shot. Okay. Play there, turn. Get a little better angle on the roll. Where do you want it? Right there?
So Belanger and Merchant thinking that maybe they can play the double here and roll in the shooter.
Yeah, it should be close.
Not
Okay.
quite sure, but again, double is really the most important thing right now.
Might roll on.
Yes.
Yeah, up weight.
At this point in the end,
Firm.
looking at 2. Making sure that they can either blank or score is probably job 1 for the Australians. If they can get a deuce, that would be a huge bonus.
Close. Yep. Yes. Hard.
They do not want to jam.
Hurry. Roll it.
Oh, just nudges the Japanese stone.
It was close. That was close.
Was able to roll it in though.
Well, it's one of those good news, bad news situations. They did roll their own in, but I do think they've also guarded their opponent's shot with their own stone. There we see from our long shot, in nudging the Japanese stone and pushing it to the side of the 4-foot, they've partly guarded it with their own rock.
Shimizu looking at the stones on the wing there. Thinking maybe Palangio could copy Morozumi coming off the white one, but I don't really think that's going to be an option.
Yeah, it looks like the kind of shot that Yasuki would be quite happy to try. And I remember back in my playing days, that kind of in-off shot off the wings was a specialty of Marco Ussi-Pavoniemi from Finland. He would look for those shots, but an incredibly low percentage shot.
For me, there's 3 options right now for Team Japan. Either throw the guard, hit the red, or draw the open wing to the light 2. Both ways is really forcing Australia to draw the 1 foot, so
The thing Japan will be mindful of is not setting up a double takeout that would give Australia 2.
looking to draw the wing.
So Japan will be wanting to make sure they get the stone all the way to the tee line.
I feel like maybe the guard is a safer shot, but you'd expect Morozumi to put this somewhere in the back of the house.
I like this call. You've got some execution tolerance. You've got probably 3 feet that you can play with. Anywhere to the tee line or just past it's a good shot.
Especially when you have sweepers like this. You have some extra tolerance.
Sweeping is a weapon. Japanese are using it. Great shot. No chance at all for a double takeout. So Australia will have to draw for one.
Well, he did say Ian Palangio is confident with his draw weight. And we have seen him play some really nice draws so far.
So that confidence about to be tested. Ian will have to make the draw. Getting a piece of the button probably. Facing 2 with his team down 3, so lots of pressure on Ian here. Last stone of end number 5.
It's all weight.
Johns and Hewitt in charge of the weight.
Make sure, guys.
I think they like it.
Sure.
Now they're sweeping. Have they left it too long? No, it is perfect.
Wow.
Once again, Ian Palangio drills the Panda. Australia saves their one, and they're alive in this game. Japan goes to the 5th end break, leading it 5-3.
Be right back. See you now.
So the players will pause for their 5-minute break at the 5th end break. We will also briefly pause. You're watching live coverage for the Pacific Asia Curling Championships from Karuizawa, Japan. We'll be right back.
Second end.
That's normal.
Japan with a 1-point lead. Ian Palangio with a chance of scoring two.
Okay.
Draws
Sweep, guys.
gently down onto the back yellow and picks up a lead. 2 shots to 1 for Australia after 2 ends. In the third end, certainly one for the scrapbooks. A daring angle run for Morozumi makes it perfect. Just top-notch stuff from the Japanese skip. Shot of the week so far, 4 shots to 2 lead. Fourth end, Ian Palangio with a bit of a scary pick, but does run it through. Japan steals 1.
Weight was good. Line over.
So, as the halftime break is over and we head into the sixth end, Japan leads the game 5 shots to 3 and has last stone advantage. Remembering, of course, Ian Palangio drawing the pin in that fifth end for the single. Things really changed with that run for 3 in the third end, Hans.
And that's absolutely right, Sander. Australia was looking wired for the steal. They had a stone frozen
Just short.
in the forefoot, but Yusuke Morozumi, as Sander described it, definitely the shot of the tournament so far.
Good shot. Sweep, guys.
The thing that made that angle raise so good, he had to drive it precisely onto the Australian stone at a certain angle to save his own shooter, as well as eliminate the Australian stones. It was absolutely perfect. As good as you'll see. So it is semi-final Friday. This is semi-final action from the Pacific Asia Curling Championships. In the men's event, they're playing a best 2 out of 3 series to determine who goes to the gold medal game.
Leg short. You want to play guard?
Japan leads this 2 out of 3 series 1-0. So if Japan can maintain their lead for the rest of the game, they will clinch their place in the gold medal game.
Can't feel yet.
Australia, on the other hand, fighting for their lives. They need to turn this around and get the win. And if they can achieve that,
Line should be close.
then the next game between these teams would be a 1-game winner-take-all
Line's good. Just for line. Line's
for the
good.
place in the gold medal match.
Gotta go for a weight.
Hard. Yep.
We're there.
Hard, guys. Hard, guys.
We're there.
Okay, just here. Just here. Just here. Good shot.
Nice come around there by Steve Johns, right behind the center guard that he put. So Australia lying 1. Japan with the hammer. Kosuke Morozumi, younger brother of Skip Yusuke. Just rubs the guard, so small mistake there, and a chance for the Australians
That's
to
okay.
start to build their defense.
Here we go.
Dave Merchant says, here we go.
Line is key.
So far, it almost seems like both teams have been better without the last stone.
That can happen sometimes in a curling match, that
Whoa, then. Just for line. Whoa.
you're more comfortable setting guards and throwing come-arounds, which is usually what you're doing when you don't have last draw.
On its own.
Lots of room.
Can we get a
Lots of room.
Rick in?
Lots of room.
Sometimes you just have to take what the ice gives you. So a bit of an error there from Dean Hewitt, but pretty acceptable plan B for Australia. Morozumi looking at his options.
Kind of like the double on the reds.
Well, we've seen Tetsuro Shimizu throwing the Shinkansen weight. But not this time. This is a nice control weight.
Well, it's going to have to be very precise, so wants to bring the sweepers in the picture.
There's
close.
one.
Wow. That is class.
Surgical precision from Team Japan. Look at this. Picks out the Australian shot.
That's so
Squirts
good.
it between their own stones, leaving themselves lying too guarded. That's really good shooting.
The extra good thing is they keep the shooter in front of their own yellow.
Hit that
Big,
top one. Is it
big
close
smile
enough
from
to roll it
Shimizu
down
there.
the
He knows
center?
how good that was.
This one.
Such a good
yeah,
call, such
and
a good
clip the
weight
one on the back.
throwing.
It won't roll in the house.
That's right, Sander. You talked about the maturity of this Japanese team to play
Okay,
the
that one
right
of
weight
theirs
at the
is
right
back
time. That
forward,
was a
so
great
roll
example
like
there.
here. That's fine. Or roll it to the center and try and catch the one at the back. Okay. Right now we need center guards. If we peel
Normal.
that and get the one in the back, it's not bad.
So some discussion there from the Rock Wallabies about their options. Here's Dean Hewitt,
Control.
first native-born Australian to curl for Australia.
Got a lot of moving to do. Whoa. Close.
And Dean does a bit of pinball action himself,
Okay.
killing 2 Japanese stones.
That works.
Yeah.
That totally works.
Yeah, it's a bit ugly.
Oh, this is center guard.
Yep.
2 red stones in front, yellow one exposed. Japan electing to come around the center guard. So Shimizu going to have to go from a controlled double takeout to a delicate draw.
Whoa, no line.
Sweeper's backing off it. No line, says Skip Morzumi, but we have seen it really break on the side. So could jump in,
Yes, yep.
but not enough.
Pushes the Australian stone to the face of their own.
Oh, yeah. Play the hit and roll. Hit and roll off that.
So Pelangio sees an opportunity
Oh, we
to
can save it.
do 2 for
Just
1.
come in. Yeah, we don't make the hit roll perfect. He's got a pretty sweet draw in. I like the draw. Okay.
I think I like the draw too. No need to hit that on the wing just yet, or at all.
How tight is that yellow guard?
Even if you make it perfect, you might set up a double for Japan.
Jay Merchant saying, I think the easier way to get a stone in there is to draw.
That's a good point.
95, guys.
Very often you'll see teams play hit and rolls when it's not really necessary. The question you need to ask yourself is, what's the easiest way to get a stone to the spot we want? And very often that's the draw.
Yeah, a little bit, yep.
And you're going to have to risk keeping opponent stones around if you're going to ever score anything.
This one looks heavy.
Oh, slow down. Gassed it.
Okay. All right, Jake.
So
Sorry,
execution
guys.
error there from the Australians.
Maybe it was
And a big opportunity now for the Japanese. They've got the hammer here in the 6th.
それかカマ先にしちゃうか。それか払う。
We've often seen Shimizu and Morozumi swap the brushes.
エイトに半分入れば
One of them is using a horsehair brush and another is using a synthetic brush. They always keep the horsehair brush on the outside of the sweeping path. And that's a very experienced horsehair brush being held by Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi as his sweeping brush, or his throwing brush rather.
キンキン前がいいよ。前がいいよ。キンラインつく。キン5で OK だよ。5で OK ラインつく。
Yamaguchi trying the shot just attempted by Merchant, drawing around the guards. Eases into the 4-foot. Nice shot. So big pressure now on Team Australia. Japan's punishing that miss. They've got the hammer. They've got 2 perfectly guarded. Let's listen to what Ian Pelangio has to say about his
The hit
options.
and roll doesn't go off that at all. It just has to be straight there.
Yeah. You like Steve? I mean, we can do the straight back.
There's a rip there.
You're doing his job for him.
Yeah.
So if you make it, you're in great shape.
Yeah.
If you play this shot, it's all in the middle, right?
Yeah.
That center guard will be there for Ian to advance. Maybe we should try the hit and block now. You know what I'm saying?
What's that?
Center guard's there for you already.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere. Maybe we should try the hit and block.
Okay. Get rid of one of them as well.
I kind of like
Where do
this
we gotta
call,
hit it?
actually.
Half stone?
Do you like normal or control?
We talked about the difficulty of controlling a hit and roll, but
Okay.
this is a situation where you maybe have to try it. Risky, though.
Yeah.
So Australia's going to try to hit their own stone. About 2/3 and roll behind the center guard for shot.
Less ice. Yep. Yep. Hard. 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 Hard.
Trying to hold the line. He rolls behind the Japanese shot rock. So there we see the risk in that shot.
I didn't think it moved quite that much.
Needed to get fuller contact on the target stone, but he only hits about half a rock, and we can see he slides behind the Japanese stone. And because of the pace of it, rolls out of the house. So gamble does not pay off for the Australians, and a big chance now for Japan to get another one in there and set up maybe a 3, which would be pretty much fatal for the Australians.
House man, line okay. Good. ちょっと幅あるよ。下がいいよ。
Shimizu
Yes, 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 yes.
Morozumi on the brushes for Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi's draw.
Clean, clean, clean,
Nearby.
clean, clean, clean. いいよいいよいいよいいよ。いいよ、clean. Nice.
Not
nice.
really burying, but it's sitting in the top of the 8-foot. Be interesting to see what kind of angles the Australians have.
Either you pick it
And he just draws again.
or the run back.
I say I like the run back because even if we have
If you open everything up.
you still have a draw at some point. Hey?
I think so.
Just see if it just hair.
Nose is great.
Just- yeah, it's
Tolerance is
just-
high side.
Yeah. All right.
We heard Ian talk about the tolerance.
That tick I threw down here a couple ends ago, eyes that side on you.
So again, Ian remembering what he did earlier in the game when he tried to make his...
Tolerance is high side.
By tolerance, the players mean if I'm going to make a miss, where do I want to miss?
It's normal.
It's a bit of a negative thought, actually, when you're climbing into the hack, because you really want to be thinking primarily about what you're trying to do as opposed to what you're trying to accept as a second alternative. But
More.
Ian's thinking if I'm a bit wide, at least I'll kill the guards.
Yep. Whoa.
Trying a straight back run back.
Yes. Yes.
Trying to hit it right on the nose. Nice shot by Pelangio. Might have overcurled just a fraction.
Close, close.
Close, close. They would have liked to drive that straight back, and that would have left their red stone there as a guard, but we can see it's now just slightly in the open. Great shot by Pelangio.
ここの方がいいんじゃない最後のカンマーできなくない
Opportunity is still knocking on the door for the Japanese. They can squeeze by that guard with delicate weight. They could lie 2. They've got the hammer.
バンパーで見るよ多分曲がり具合から言ったら
We hear that universal curling word bumper again, so it looks to me they're going to play board weight, bumper weight. Yusuke Morozumi wants to just squeak by that red center guard. Have it finish with that quiet bumper weight. And just get his stone to the inside of that red true rock and remove it.
ほぼステーか若干中か
To get the inside roll, though, they're going to have to be really close to that center guard. No danger of the guard. Makes the hit but rolls to the wing. So no inside roll there for the Japanese, and a chance here for the Australians to bail themselves out of the end. But to do so, they're going to have to make a delicate hit and roll. It's going to have to roll about 4 feet.
You think draw?
I hear Pelangio and John's thinking we could also draw.
It's a good space to roll, too. Control.
Decision made. They are going to play the hit and roll.
Control weight. Half stone. Just control. Close.
Australians really need this roll.
Close. Yep. Whoa. 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 Roll it, Steve. All yours. Go.
There's the hit. They're looking for the roll. John sweeping it behind the center guard. Nice stone by Pelangio.
Okay.
Yep, I think that should be enough.
Great shot. Thanks.
So Australia's definitely shot. Are they fully buried? There we get a great look at it.
I think it might just be buried enough for it to make it very hard for Murzum to score 2. And a good thing they didn't roll a foot more, because there might have been a little bit of a run on the yellow.
So that's actually quite a good spot. We saw Morozumi looking at the run back options. There aren't really any good ones there. So it looks to me like he's just going to try to pick out this Australian stone.
Well, if it's just picking for one, the option could be also just to draw to the 4 foot, play a tap on the yellow.
That's true, Sander. In terms of degree of difficulty, this is at least as hard as the draw. But we've talked about the supreme confidence of this Japanese team to throw precise hits. This one definitely calls for precision. He can only see a corner. There we see. You can see maybe a quarter of a rock.
I think it's important for Japan to score here, though. Take a 1 in the 6th end.
Yep. Psychologically, it would be a big boost for the Australians if they could steal. Quiet wait here.
That tells me he might be trying to stick this one for 2. He's going to have to flirt with the guard.
Sweepers are really on it. Now they're backing off, so they're happy with the line. They make contact. They remove the Australian stone. Will they stick around? No, they don't. So it's 1 point for Japan, but a nice shot there from Morozumi.
Yeah, that was a good attempt, but still looked really hard to make. He was pretty close to the guard.
Yeah, so it was a tough attempt at a 2, but he went for it. Came away with 1. So the Australians will be saying, okay, boys, that's a force. Now we need a 2. There's a nice bailout there by Ian Pelangio. After some misses, we saw him make a great hit and roll on his last shot to force Japan to take 1. We'll use this opportunity to quickly update you on some of the other scores. Some really tight matches going on here on semifinal Friday. In the women's event on sheet E, China versus Japan. China leads that 5-4, but the Japanese have just scored a 2 in the 7th end. That's a very tight game. On sheet D in the women's event, Korea versus New Zealand. Korea was 8-0, and New Zealand had to scrape their way into the event via a tiebreaker, but the Kiwis are really giving the Koreans a battle. Korea leads that one 5-4, playing the 7th. In the men's event, on sheet C, Korea versus China. China stole a point in the 6th end. They lead that one 4-3. Crucial match for the Chinese, because the Koreans are on match point. If Korea wins that game, they would go through to the gold medal match. So China's fighting for their lives. And in our feature game, we saw that Japan scored 1 on the 6th end. And they take a 6-3 lead over the Rock Wallabies from Australia into the 7th end of play. Once again, this end is shaping up textbook. Kosuke Morozumi made a perfect shot right on the button for his lead rock for Japan.
Good job, Steve.
And Steve Johns responded with a perfect lead rock for Australia, throwing a corner guard.
Okay, line's good. いいよ、入っても OK。フリーンだけ。あ、フリーズまで。クリーン。いいよ、クリーン。クリーン。クリーン。クリーン。OK、ウォーだな。ラインはそのままで大丈夫。
Japan electing to stack them up in the forefoot.
Yep. If you make a little pocket, that's okay too. Just back 4 foot weight.
So we see the veteran calmness from the Australians. No temptation at all to remove those Japanese stones. They just want to try and push them behind the tee line.
Should be there. Tee line. Line's pretty good. To it. Close. Line's pretty good. Got to bend a bit. Okay. We're there. We're to it.
Whoa.
Just to it.
Whoa then.
Just
Whoa
to
then.
it.
Got to bend. Got to bend. Okay, that didn't come up as much as I thought it would.
Okay.
Pelangio expecting a bit more curl than they got. Japan with the 3-point lead now, looking to eliminate guards. So Tetsuro Shimizu all aboard the Shinkansen.
Okay.
Kills the guard, rolls away.
Yeah. I just rolled there. You want a corner?
Karuizawa
could.
about 1 hour away from
could save
Tokyo
this.
on the Asama Shinkansen line.
Another corner. I like this. I like
It's only
this.
your first one, right?
I like a corner.
Let's go corner.
I like a corner here. Yeah.
The Australians thinking about what they need to do to manufacture a pair. Electing another corner guard. Dean Hewitt.
There all day.
This one cozying up quite tight to the rings, but does sit just short of it. And you see Dean Hewitt. Japan will immediately make a play to remove it. Again, Shimizu.
Yep. Whoa. 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 Yep. Yep.
Trying for some action, and boy, do they get it.
Wow.
Oh, my. High fives there from his teammates, and a big smile from Tetsuro Shimizu. Look at this. Kills the guard, gets the action, kills the Australian shooter, and picks off the danger stone behind the tee line as well. That's about as good as you can get.
Shimizu just loves making these type of shots. Always looking to make the double. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes removing 2 stones isn't quite enough for Tetsuro. He likes to kill 3 or 4.
Yeah. So that kind of ruined Australia's plans here.
Line's
Only
pretty good.
1 stone in play for Australia.
Well, we've talked about the front-running ability of this Japanese team. Once they get a lead, they're very hard to catch. We just saw a great reason why.
Okay.
I think Hewitt was trying to freeze the elo. Ends up as a center guard.
Not bad for the Australians. They really do need rocks in play, so whether it's a center guard or a corner guard or a freeze, a rock in play is a good thing for Australia. That might be something they could promote later in the end.
Thought maybe Murazumi would take off the center guard, actually.
Me too, Sander. I'm quite surprised they're leaving it there.
3 points up. I guess if there were 4 points up, they would take it off. But I think still with 3-point lead, take the center guard off, let Australia blank. and try and force him or give him 2 in like the 8th or 9th. Doesn't matter. Still going to have a lead with a last stone advantage. And this is exactly what Australia wants. A missed draw from Tsuyoshi.
Come here. I just think he's going to guard
And
it.
Australia can play the same shot themselves.
95, guys.
Jay Merchant looking to atone for his missed draw in the last end, trying to freeze this Japanese shot rock.
Yep. Line's good. Yep. Just for weight. Yep. Just for weight. Yep.
Hewitt and Johns never left this one,
All the way, guys. Never stop.
trying to bring it to the face of the Japanese stone.
Go.
Now they think the weight's there.
Okay.
What about the line? It's really not finishing.
I just
Okay.
tracked.
Yeah.
It was good.
Okay.
It was good, just tracked there.
Heard Jay saying that one just tracked. That means it just held the running line a little bit longer than they were anticipating it to. Yamaguchi.
Ning. Yes. Yes. Hard. Yes. Yes. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Bit narrow on that one, but kills the center guard. So definitely not plan A, but a pretty good plan B. He was trying to remove the Australian shot, but killed the center guard instead. So a little something to work with here for Australia.
Hitting big roll.
He's got to go here. It's either that or hit and roll.
Well, it's either or, I guess. I just don't want to.
Two ways to
roll?
play it.
I like to hit and roll too. Get the back one if you can.
You might lose the back one, though.
Well, we might double them.
You might. I hit that? Or freeze?
Yeah, I do actually. I think we hit it.
Just control.
I think of the
Like
two
this.
options, Sander, even though it's a little bit riskier execution-wise, I'd prefer the hit and roll as well. We've seen how this Japanese team can throw the heat. And I think if the Australians froze into the pile, Morozumi would just throw a missile at it and probably clear the lot. So Australia trying to manufacture a 2 by splitting the house with a hit and roll. They need some separation here. There's the hit and no separation, so the gamble doesn't pay off for the Australians.
Bit down. Bit down.
Really needed that one to roll to the wings there, but well, it's easy pickings for the Japanese. You see where Tetsuro Shimizu has the brush. Yusuke Morozumi will try to throw a takeout that will go pretty much right down that line. Trying to make a double takeout. I'll just try to clip the top rock first, redirecting to the second stone.
Well, seeing how you made that run double in the third end, you'd guess he'd be close to this one.
On the out turn.
Sounds pretty good. There we are.
Routine. Just another routine double takeout for Yusuke Morozumi. Great shot.
Nice shot.
So
Okay.
we have the playing surface that looks a little
I
bit
like
like
your
the
thinking.
Australian outback. Nothing there at all.
All right. Let's put a top four.
So this end now shaping up like the kind of end that Australia would now be quite happy to blank. If Australia blanks
Might be
this
a little
end,
up.
their formula to try and get to an extra end would be to take 2 on the 8th get a force and then take 2 on the 10th to force an extra end.
Good.
Once again, nice draw weight from Palangio.
Felt was a bit up.
Right on the pin. A wry smile there from Ian. Palangio's played well, but he's often been facing really difficult situations, and really this game has turned on a single shot. That incredible angle raised double takeout by Yusuke Morozumi in the 3rd end of the game really turned this one around. Compared to that shot, this one's pretty routine. But still perfectly executed, right on the nose. So now Australia will attempt the blank. I don't believe they want to score this end.
Yeah.
Hip. Hip. Got it. Okay.
And the blank is executed by Australia.
Thanks.
Nice stone there by Palangio.
Hammer in the even ends.
Hammer in the even ends indeed, Ian.
Yeah, so still a chance for Australia. Take 2, force, take 2. All tied up after 10, extra end. That is quite possible.
It absolutely is. So Australia fighting for their playoff lives. Semi-final Friday here. You're watching live action from the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2014 here in Karuizawa, Japan. This is a best 2 out of 3 format in the men's event. Japan leads the best 2 out of 3 semis 1-0. So this is a must-win for Team Australia to keep their hopes alive. Japan, on the other hand, if they win this game, they take the semifinal and they would advance to the gold medal game. And they would also qualify for the World Men's Curling Championships. So lots to play for. So a small mistake here from Kisuke Morozumi. Sliding to the back of the forefoot instead of on the button. But Australia would be playing the corner guard regardless.
You can get it off the line a little bit.
Okay. Shot.
Kosuke Morozumi also plays ultimate frisbee and volleyball. I think he'd gain some agility doing that.
Yeah, no question about his fitness if he's playing those sports.
We'll see him move quite elegantly on the ice. And the sweeping technique is pretty interesting.
Yes, he gets almost horizontal when he's sweeping. Kind of like making a dive in the corner for a frisbee. I would say if he's playing ultimate.
Or dive after a
Stretching
volleyball.
out. Or diving for a volleyball. That's right,
Diving
Simon.
for a smash.
All about the weight. Looks like it's here. Looks okay. Gotta go. Yeah.
Good to keep yourself occupied with other sports, I think. A lot of curlers will choose to play golf. I haven't played a lot of golf, but I've tried a few times, and I could see how the technique is sort of the similar. The ways you think about curling technique and golf technique. Of course, the sport coming from Scotland, that would be a normal combination for Scottish people to play golf in the summer, curling in the winter.
Scotland, the birthplace of both of those sports, so that's definitely the case. And they're both hand-eye coordination sports, so you can see where one would complement the other. Only one of those sports, of course, is an Olympic sport, and that's curling.
Yeah.
Need help?
No. It's all right.
Right here. Okay, good shot.
So Australia have their corner guards. Japan's trying to eliminate them. See them, they're not perfectly level, and so I have no doubt that Tetsuro Shimizu will be thinking, can I clear both of them?
Thinker's just going to be taking off one here.
Quite happy to remove the one.
The second is a bonus.
Yeah, safety first if you're Team Japan. You've got a 3-point lead, so no need to do anything silly or take any unnecessary risks.
I prefer that to the tap. Let's go here.
What are we doing?
Same ice.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Australia now looking to elect to use that corner guard. Asking Australian second player Dean Hewitt to play the intern draw.
95. Line's close. Line's close. Yep. Yep. Hard. Hard line. Hard line. Hard, guys, hard.
Working hard to get it by that guard.
Hard, hard, hard. Hard, hard, hard. You're by.
Just by the guard.
Ooh, Nelly.
I'd love it to stop in front of the tee line. Just slides behind it. So that's a setup shot for the Australians. They're ignoring the Japanese shots and just trying to generate something by getting behind a guard. Japan immediately looking to remove that guard.
Catch the three.
Yep. Ding. Okay.
Yamaguchi makes the peel.
Tap it back. Hey, settle down over there.
Tap that. Hopefully get some angles. I mean, the other shot is they hit the flop, but then
With as many.
back
points
eight,
they
back
got,
four,
the
wait.
doubles are
Just going back four, back eight. On Dean's side.
You hear Jay Merchant communicating with his sweepers, the kind of weight that he wants to play. They're going to try and push the Japanese shot rock behind the tee line, so he's only trying to play about back 8-foot weight. The Aussies doing anything they can to generate a deuce.
Hard line.
Playing end number 8 of this 10-end contest.
Hard line, yes. Keep the line, yes. Hard, 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 hard. Hurry! Hard, hard, hard. Hurry!
Makes contact with the Japanese shooter, just nudges it onto the button.
I don't know how much that helps.
So now Morozumi is looking at those Aussie shots. Seeing, can we clean him out with a double?
いや、いらなくない?
I think it's worth a go.
So Yoshi Yamaguchi coming down to have a quick word with the skipper about the options. being really conservative. You could just play the second shot, or either of them, and just remove them. But what they're weighing up is the chance of killing both of the Australian shots.
Ming, whoa, whoa, Ming, yes, yes, whoa, whoa.
They're close. Perfect.
We've seen that happen more than once so far this week from Yamaguchi.
Look at the angles. Perfectly executed. Double kill. 1, 2 Australian stones rocket out of the rings. Another great shot from Yamaguchi.
Back to here.
I like that.
Just back here?
Yeah. I mean, we're all in at this point.
Yeah, we hear Jay Merchant saying we're all in at this point. That means we have to gamble at every opportunity.
Oh, yeah. No.
So they're going to try and play a very soft tap. They'd like to be right on the nose.
Nice. Can I get a fraction more, please? You're just throwing the same weight.
Okay.
Maybe back button, back forefoot weight to throw on this shot. Just trying to nudge those Japanese stones. Set up a jam.
Gotta go for nose.
Room. Close.
Nose.
Close. Whoa, whoa. Whoa. Close. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Hard. Hard for line. Yep. Yep. Hard. Shot.
Again, I'd have to call that a small sweeping error, Sander. They were really
like
looking
that.
to get that thing lined up right on the nose and left that one a bit too long. It overcurled slightly, and there we can see the stagger. So quite a lot easier for the Japanese to remove that red stone now.
I think they're going to try and remove as much as they can, really.
Well, I don't think Morozumi would be disappointed at all with basically a triple takeout. Kill the red Australian stones and kill 2 of his own stones at the same time. He'd be pretty happy with that.
Probably going to see some weight from the Japanese skip.
So once again, fasten your seatbelts.
Yep. Yes. Whoa.
And there they go.
Makes it look so easy and rolls out too.
It's incredible. I thought he could make the triple. I didn't think he'd be able to roll his own shooter out, but look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 stones in motion, and they're all out of play.
Yeah, no point in leaving the shooter. Clear the house. Force Australia to blank.
So Japan is slowly running the Australians out of time. By time we mean ends of play. So this will be another end off the clock for the Australians. And almost no chance for the Australians to make their 2 points now.
Anyway, you see Australia taking the one in the 8th.
Looks close, guys.
Well, I guess there's 2 ways for them to potentially force an extra end, Sander. So one option might be to take your point in the 8th and then try to play steal-steal
Good sweep, guys.
in 9 and 10. The other way to play it would be to blank this end, play for the 2 in the 9th, and try to steal the 10th end. So it's really just a matter of which of either of those difficult roads the Australians choose.
So far proving pretty hard to score to. Although they did it once in the second end. Team Australia.
Yes, they did. Ten ends to play in these games.
This time Skip Morozumi is going to try and stick the shooter. No point in running out with this shot.
There again, we see that maturity that Sander Rovag referred to. After the big weight shot to clear all of the stones, that one was a nice control weight.
High side.
Saves the shooter. And now we'll see the decision from Australia. I did hear Ian Palangio say high side, so that says to me they're looking to blank the end. Last shot of end number 8.
I just snapped. Yeah.
Australia looking to blank the end, quite on the nose, rolling it to the wings.
Okay.
Dean Hewitt sweeps it out of the rings, so successful execution of the blank there by the Aussies. They'll carry the hammer into the 9th end.
Yeah.
Weight was great.
I think I slid and touched wide, so I may have thrown it a bit loopy, just a little bit. Okay.
So Sander, it's kind of all-in time in poker terms for the Australians. They're going to have to gamble with every opportunity here in the 9th to try and score 2.
Yep, and I don't think they should be removing a single rock, since Japan is doing that job quite well for themselves. Just going to have to put up the guards and focus on draws. Hope that Japan maybe miss a double or two.
We'll use this opportunity to very quickly update you of these other games that are going on here on semi-final Friday. Some really close and exciting games. On sheet E, China versus Japan. China is now leading that one 6-4 with play in end number 9. On sheet D in the women's event, surprisingly competitive New Zealand team. Korea was 8-0 in the round robin, but New Zealand has made that one really tight. They took a 3-point end in the 8th, and so Korea leads that one 8-7, playing end number 9. In the men's event on sheet C, China versus Korea. China leads that one 5-3. Play now there on end number 8. And here in end number 9 on our feature game, Japan leading 6-3 over Australia. Australia with the hammer here on the 9th, and they desperately need a deuce. No surprise here from Japan, electing to throw the stone into the 4-foot. And there's Kosuke Morozumi. So as Sander Rovag mentioned, the Australians will be looking to have every shot in play possible.
And firstly, Steve Johns is going to have to put up those guards.
Anywhere here is good.
He's been fairly steady in this game.
Good spot.
Great weight.
Good shot.
Experience paying off for the Australian lead.
Top 4.
Another universal curling phrase we heard there from Yusuke. Looking for top 4 from his brother Kosuke. So Japan stacks the stones in the 4-foot. Australia with another corner guard.
Not much.
Okay, it's all about the weight.
Go hard.
Need help?
Steve Johns thinks that one's a little bit light, but I think he's fine.
Okay, just pair it up.
By pair it up, they mean bring them
okay.
level with each other.
Looks okay. Good shot. Nice weight.
Another nice corner guard there from Steve. Shimizu runs the guard.
Yeah, less than
Line's fine, just for weight. Need some help?
Australia patiently stacking up the guards. Steve Johns saying to Ian Pelangio, I think we need a bit of help this time, mate. They are over the hog line. They'd like it deeper.
Yeah, you don't want to leave a double for Shimizu.
No, Tetsuro will be licking his chops for an opportunity to throw a double.
Morzumi not calling the double, but
he'll be thinking it.
Yep. So he'll be thinking about that when there's line call. Close.
Like that.
So now the Australians are saying it's time to switch gears.
Do it sooner or later.
Or Jay Merchant saying you have to do it sooner or later. So
Ice.
sooner is now. Dean Hewitt.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, for line. Just for line, eh? Okay, line's good. Line's good. Line's good. 8 foot. Line's good. There.
They like the weight.
Well, it is better. It needs to vary a bit.
Needs to bend.
It's well by the guard.
Not moving. Okay. Boy, that ran really straight, Dean.
Yeah, that fooled the Australians a bit. They were expecting it to curl more than it did. It's a bit of a teaser. Maybe tempting the Japanese to chase it, but the discipline and the experience of Morozumi saying it's the guard that's actually going to hurt us.
Still discussing it though.
They are. I just saw Yosuke tapping the board, so saying to Tsuyoshi, just play board weight. We will chase the shooter after all.
Still like the corner guard peel.
Whoa, no line, whoa. Ring, まだだよ、whoa, 曲がってないよ。当たれ。ジェイちゃん結構ギリ、結構ギリ。
Well, that is a good shot, but it does leave another yellow and does leave the corner guard. So again, even with that being a good shot, I'd say the corner guard peel was the preferred option there.
I tend to agree with you, Sander. Right now, if you're Japan, you don't really need rocks in play.
How's that? It's just control.
If you're Australia, even though those 3 stones in the ring all belong to Japan, you want rocks in play.
Yeah, and that's...
I have no idea why they're throwing a hit here.
No, I was just going to say. I'd say either draw around the corner or just play a tap or a freeze. All these yellows. Yellow stones are your friend at this moment, so I don't see why they're really trying to remove them. Now they've removed 2 yellows and they're sitting in the open. That doesn't quite make sense to me.
Looks to me, Sander, like they were thinking about somehow rolling behind that corner guard. They didn't do that, so yeah, that's probably wouldn't have been the option that I've chose, but it was an option, but they really had to roll it all the way behind that center or that corner guard for that shot to work, and they didn't do it.
Well, the good thing is they have removed a few yellows, and that's going to allow the draw around the corner guard without too many yellow stones to remove later on.
Well, that's true. We did say at the beginning of the end that Australia is all in. They have to score 2 here, really, to stay realistically with a chance in this game. That means they have to gamble.
Hit and roll. Yeah.
So this hit and roll should be...
Which way do you like? Same thing. Okay.
They're looking to stay on the intern. So delicate little hit and roll here for Jay Merchant. Need to control the roll. They need to roll about 2 feet to be buried behind that corner.
Oh. Close. Whoa. Whoa. It's got to bend.
They can't afford to roll off, however.
Whoa.
Just by the guard.
Okay.
Sorry, Ian.
That's a big mistake.
Okay.
That's a big
That
mistake.
one, I think.
That's killing the end right there.
Yeah.
That's
Ready to slide.
Okay.
So getting pretty close to lights out for Australia here, unfortunately for them.
Japan looking at a draw now. That's just, again, not quite making sense to me. But just rip the corner guard and you're home free.
Some interesting tactical choices here in this end.
Well, good. Well, this time they've...
Now they're walking up to the corner guard to rip it.
Yeah. That's good. Doesn't really matter which options you think of, as long as you make the right call in the end.
So if Japan eliminates this guard, there is really nowhere for Australia to hide. They'd be forced to try a freeze on that stone that's in the forefoot. And even if Ian Palangio is perfect with his freeze, we've seen the ability of Morozumi to peel stones away, even when it looks like they're frozen.
Yeah.
I think I'd be more tempted to draw around it.
So
I've said that a couple of times this week. The freeze is just not going to work. Even if you make it
Yeah, I think
good
it's
at,
gonna move at the end. Like about
I'd say
there.
maybe 1 out of 20 times you'll make it good enough for it maybe to stick around playing these guys. But
well, that is the key point. It's playing these guys.
Yeah, but I don't think it
ordinarily, the freeze is an excellent
Even if we're
shot
not
in this
he's looking to be
scenario.
blasting away.
But you know, with the stones being so lively and the ice being so keen as well, it's really going to
Yeah,
move on
if we get to
contact. And I think even if you draw only just half behind this yellow in the back of the 12, that's still going to be a tougher shot for Morozumi than just playing the clean pick. But Ian Palangio has had some excellent draw weight.
I drove
This
hard.
is a bit of a team shot.
Whoa, right off.
Lots of room.
Lots of room.
Here it comes.
Lots of room. Lots of room.
On the freeze, both line and weight crucial.
Whoa, it's all there. Nah.
This one's not finishing.
Now. All right.
So the weight
Yeah, I
was
think
in the
I figured it
neighborhood, but the
positive.
line wasn't. So pretty straightforward exercise now for Yusuke Morozumi to remove that Australian
Lots of
shot.
weight, too. Tightening up a little bit.
Yeah, it might be.
So unless we see an uncharacteristic mistake in a jam, Japan will enjoy at least a 2-point lead going into the 10th and final end. See the target from Shimizu. Morozumi looking to make the contact right about where that brush is. This one is curling. Loses his shooter, but his shot rock stays there, so Japan lies 1. So mission accomplished for the Japanese. And now the debate for the Australians is,
If they have the hammer, we get 2 free guards.
Whatever you want.
Snows it.
so some brief discussion there. Australia could have
What's that?
blanked. Let's
Well,
listen
whether you
to
take one or
Steve.
blank.
We get 2 guards.
Let's take one.
We need a few more ends.
2 free guards. Yeah.
Steve Johns looking for a return to the 12-end form of curling, but that's not going to happen.
I think it's a fair point. You get 2 free guards. The next end taking 1 point here. I don't mind that call. If he sticks around though. He does. So Ian Palangio and Team Australia takes the
Yeah, I
1
mean, they're
point.
both not great scenarios.
Still trailing by 2, and
This
they'll
way we
have
get a
to
little bit of control.
steal 2 and the 10th for the extra.
We will.
So Australia has a tall order in front of them. They have to steal 2 to force an extra end. The Japanese, on the other hand, have executed, well, magnificently, really, through this game. We saw the incredible angle raise double takeout by Yusuke Morozumi in the 4th end, and we've seen a pretty clinical display of peeling of guards, making doubles, triples in the house to clear things up. And the Japanese, we've talked about their ability to front run, how good they are with the lead, and it's been like that again here today.
Well, I think with Australia taking one there, they'll have a pretty good chance of lying to, at least before Morzumi's last shot. And I think that's the way to go, at least force your opponent to make a shot for the win under some pressure.
So this one?
And that will be the objective for the Australians in this 10th end, to make Yusuke Morozumi
Looks real good.
climb into the hack on his
Great
last
shot,
shot of the
Steve.
game,
Sit down.
having to make a shot to win it.
Good.
Let's quickly update you with some of the other games. This is semifinal Friday at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships. Some really exciting games going on. China versus Japan in the women's event. That game is deadlocked, 6-6 after 9 ends of play. China will have the hammer in the 10th and final end. So Japan has to steal to win that game. Korea versus New Zealand in the women's event. Korea scores a big deuce on the 9th end, and they lead at 10-7 playing the 10th. In the men's event, Korea versus China. China is on a roll. They have stolen 3 consecutive ends, and they lead it 6-3 playing the 9th. And here in our feature match, Japan's on match point in this 2 out of 3 series, and they lead it 6-4 playing the 10th end. If the Japanese can maintain control and win this game, they will advance to the gold medal match, and they will also clinch their place in the World Men's Curling Championships. That's a place for Japan. Australia needs every stone they can in play.
Okay.
Looks like a little frosty out there.
Yeah. A little heavier.
Frosty out there.
2 guards up for the Australians. So we heard at the 9th end break when they were considering their options whether to blank the 9th or take a point. They said, well, if we don't have the hammer, we can have 2 guards, and those 2 guards are there. I have to say, Sandra, I'm a little surprised they're throwing a second stone into the rings. They don't really need to score here, so I'd be wanting as few rocks in play as possible myself. It does slide through the rings, and so it works out that way anyways.
Yeah, I agree. I think 1-0 in there's plenty.
Dean Hewitt now being asked to draw around the center guards and into the top of the 12-foot.
Line should be good.
This is really the last shot that the Australians have with the protection of the free guard
Just for
zone.
weight.
After
Just for
this,
weight.
Tetsuro
Line's
Shimizu
real
will
good.
be allowed to blast away at those guards, so quite important
Line's
that the
real good.
Australians make this one count.
Can you get to here?
Yep.
Yep.
Sweep it.
Okay. That's fine.
Well, potential triple for Shimizu, I think.
Yeah, we see 3 red rocks in front of the rings, and the Japanese will definitely throw at them. Looking to remove at least 1, but as we've seen in this match and in other matches, they'll be thinking 2 or 3.
How many has he got? Shimizu.
1, 2. Pushes that stone into the rings and moves it, so not quite a triple takeout, but fantastic shot from Shimizu. Wide open pathway now for the Japanese. The protection of the center guards are
Gonna have to.
completely gone.
Let's go this way.
Sander Ulvik, I'm incredibly impressed with the ability of this team to protect a lead. They have looked in dominating form any time this week that they've had a lead. They can peel teams out
For line.
every time.
Yeah.
Lots of room.
at the start. I thought they were
Leave it here.
maybe just overthrowing it, the peels, but they're making all the shots, so it's just nice execution, really.
Okay.
Play the peel over the top.
No choice for Australia. They have to keep replacing those guards. Hope for a nose hit or a jam. They need to steal 2. So eventually they'll have to deal with that stone in the 8-foot, but not yet. Shimizu again looking to clean house.
A bit surprised he's going for the slash. Oh.
Removes 1 guard. So no spectacular triple that time.
We need to put this in a position that it might enable a double jam.
Steer.
Yeah.
And you hear Jay Merchant talking about stone placement.
Okay, so I'm looking at a 15, I reckon. 15 to 20.
A round of applause from the fans here at the Ice Park Curling Hall, and that's for a final in the women's semifinal. Korea has clinched their place in the gold medal match. They've defeated New Zealand 10-7, so Team Korea continues their unbeaten roll in the women's event.
Steer's good.
They're all the way to the gold medal match. So congratulations to Eun-Young Kim and her Korean teammates. And we'll see them tomorrow in the gold medal match. Nice guard there from Jay Merchant.
It's a good spot, Jay.
They are going for the double.
Yes, they could potentially clear the entire house, I think, Sander, if they get the angles right.
Yep. Yep. Me. Whoa. Whoa.
Well, tiny glimmer of hope for Team Australia. They did try the triple, but jammed one of them. No guards in play, and there's 1 Australian stone sitting there in the 8-foot.
Yeah.
We've said the objective for the Australians is to make Yasuki look at 2 stones on his last one, so there's 1 of them.
Yeah, and if they can just continue guarding the shot, Ian Palangio would probably just draw into the house with his second one, or his last one. And Murasumi will have to make a hit.
Yep. Yep.
It's got to bend a bit.
Quick update from our other game in the men's event.
Yep, hard guys, all the way.
Korea scored a 3 on the 9th, so that game is tied in the 10th end 6-6. Great curling here today. Nice guard there from Merchant.
Sweet.
And patiently just removing that guard. They know if they just peel guards, then the worst thing that Yasuki Morozumi will have to execute on his last one is an open hit.
Shot.
Guard. Replace the one Jay put up.
1 more guard for the Aussies.
No. Ice still the same or close enough? Okay.
Langio just confirming the weight.
Let it die, let it die, let it die.
No line.
Yep. No, line's okay.
Yep.
Playing the guard.
Hurry. That's good.
Okay. Whoa,
That's good.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting spot, Sander. I don't think that it's going to stay there, but near enough to the house that if there was a Japanese miss, that Australia might even be able to split it on in lie 3 and make Japan look at a loss. It's really grasping at straws.
Yeah, I don't think this stone from Murzum is going to go zooming by the reds. I think it's more likely for going through the reds.
Yes.
Dissolving the stones.
Could be a vapor trail behind this one. Chance for Yusuke Morozumi to end the game right here with a double takeout. And there it is. Japan makes the double, and that's a win for Japan. Japan advances to the gold medal match, defeating Australia by a final score of 6-4. Great double takeout there by Japanese skip Yusuke Morozumi.
Congratulations.
Yeah, been really strong, and it's going to be so interesting to see these guys at the World Championship. They had a great run last year, finishing 5th, losing out the tiebreaker to Nicholas Sedin. Maybe they might be improving on that.
That was a good game.
Maybe meddling
That was a good game.
for the World in Halifax.
You see the Japanese team here. They are the hometown team here in Karuizawa. They accept the congratulations of their many fans here. Great support for that team, and we say so long to Team Australia. They really did put up a fight here in this men's semi-final. But there we see the final. Japan 6, Australia 4. So it's Japan on to the gold medal match and off to the World Championships, a place for Japan now at the 2015 World Men's.
So we're just going to pan over to just give you a little extra bonus here. Korea playing China in the men's draw, just next to the future sheet where we just saw Japan beat Australia. Soo-Hook Kim is skip for Team Korea with the outturn draw, lying 1 already. Just a quarter hidden behind the center guard, looking to maybe just half hide this behind the center. Well, actually just looking to guard this one, and he has. Chang Chaliang, Chinese skip, won't be able to see any of the shot stone. The score is 6-6. China has the last stone in this 10th end. 3 stones to go, meaning Korea has 1 stone, China has 2. So having a bit of discussion here, Team China, whether they want to come around the guards and maybe tap the red, lie shot, or play the double peel on the guards. Seems like they have decided to play the outturn draw, follow Soo-Hook Kim. This is a shot that Chang Chaliang should be familiar with, playing lead for many years for Roy Liu. But now for the Pacific Championships, he's taking over the skip role. First of skip rocks for Team China. Hanging out wide. Will it catch a piece? It does, moves it back to the 8 foot and will lie shot. Fully exposed yellow, but a decent result for the Chinese skip. It seems like Seo-Ho Kim, Korean skip's just gonna elect a draw here. Straight draw to the 1 foot. Last stone for Korea. This one needs to be shot, needs to out-count the yellow one. Korea looking to win here. Their second game out of a best out of 3. And if they do so, they will be in the gold final. That one slips just a bit deep. And there's a good chance that Chang Chaliang can follow this one down. We will have some highlights from our future game, Australia, Japan. And a few words with winning skip Morozumi. But as mentioned, just panning over to this very exciting game between Korea and China. Last game still out there. It's very quiet in the Ice Park Curling Hall. Chang Chaliang, last stone of the 10th end. Score is 6-0. This one for the win to force this match up into a third game. Looks like he's past the guard here. Needs to curl up to the face of the red. There we go. Brilliant shot by Chang Chaliang. And China wins one. So between China and Korea, that's one win each, and they'll play again for the spot in the final. So more action between those teams yet to come. Elsewhere, we saw in the women's draw, China beating Japan, while Korea secured a place in the final with a 10-7 win over New Zealand. Of course, a potential spot in the Worlds already, depending on who comes through in the other semi between China and Japan. Second end.
4 foot.
Australia already lying one. Ian Palangio, always secure with his draw weight, comes down to the back yellow, scores 2, and leads the game 2 shots to 1 after 2 ends. In the third, surely one for the scrapbook. Morozumi, skip of Japan, an angle run double, scores 3, just amazing execution. And it's a big turnover for Team Japan. Ian Palangio trying a daring pick. Doesn't quite come off. Japan steals one.
Line wasn't.
Skip ahead to the 6th end. Morozumi trying a soft weight takeout. makes contact but does roll out. Only scores a 1. 6-3 after 6 ends. 7 and 8th end blanked. In the 9th, Ian Plangio choosing to take his 1. And he does so, meaning he would try and steal 2 in the 10th end to push this game into an extra, but that didn't happen. Morozumi made a double on his first shot to run Australia out of stones. And let's have a few words with winning skip, Morozumi.
And we're here ringside with winning Japanese skip Yosuke Morozumi. Congratulations, Yosuke. Your team has now qualified for the gold medal match. You made what I think is probably the shot of the tournament in the 4th end, scoring a 3. What were you thinking as you were climbing into the hack for that shot?
4エンド目のまずは、決勝に進出おめでとうございます。4エンド目のショットなんですけど、どのような気持ちで投げましたでしょうか。
このショットを決めればもう勝ちが近づくなというふうに思っていたので、絶対決めようと思って投げました。
I just focus on that shot because it makes us for win. That's why I focused.
Well, it was a fantastic shot and one that all of the fans here will remember. Your team is now not only qualified for the gold medal match, but you've also qualified Japan for the Men's World Curling Championships later this year. What were your team's goals for this week? What were your team's goals?
今週の良かった点ですねはどのような点でしょうか。違う。
最終目的だと。すみません。もう金メダルを目指すだけなので、最後の試合も集中してやりたいと思います。
We just aim to gold medal. That's it.
So it's great that you've got one goal in mind. You're in the gold medal match. How will you now prepare for that game?
どんな準備を決勝に向けてしますか。
もうあとは自分たちのパフォーマンスを信じて投げるだけなので、全員が集中して投げたいと思います。
We just believe ourselves and we need to focus on it for sure. That's it.
So total focus from Team Japan. Congratulations to them. You're in the gold medal match. Well done, Yosuke Morozumi.
Thank you.
So that's it for now for this morning draw. Japan winning Australia in the final. We'll have more action though. 2 o'clock. China playing Japan in the women's semi-final. Stay tuned for more action from the Ice Park Curling Hall here in Karuizawa, Japan. This was and will be more of the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2014 for myself, Sandra Olvag and Hans Franlob. See you again in a few hours.